Hey everybody, how y'all doing? This is the Pages Speak, another edition, and we're gonna be talking about polyamory. I am Joe Nathan Lee Page. What's your name?
I am Stephanie Page, and we are the Pages, and we are going to speak today.
All right.
We're going to ask that as you come on, as you see this broadcast, that you share it. And if you're looking at it on YouTube, please like and subscribe to this page. We talk about a lot of different subjects. We keep it real, and it's nothing that we will not talk about.
Come on now.
We're going to speak about it. You ready to speak about it?
We're talking about it.
Ready to speak about it. Let's speak about it. Let's speak.
Yeah.
Polyamory. Many of you, I'm pretty sure, maybe some of you I didn't see that show with the Smiths,
Red Table Talk.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna name the show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so anyway, so it was on last week, and it was talking about a very interesting subject, polyamory. And my first thing is like, what is that? What is it? So what they defined it as, a polyamory is multiple emotional and romantic partners at the same time. So having multiple, again, romantic and emotional partners at the same time. So polyamory, or multiple love situations, I guess. Situations, many situations, is what's going on. So when I was listening to it, I was like, okay, what is going on? And I had to stop and listen and really dig into, what they were saying. So with the scenario, you had one young lady, and she was very young.
Yes.
Very young. And she was speaking about that, you should have the freedom to create the type of relationship that works for you. So if that means that, listen, one doesn't work for me, I need multiple, or many different ranges. And then this particular person was saying how she has these different relationships, but it doesn't mean that you have to have sex with them. And I'm like, okay, and I'm just trying. Yeah, I'm trying to come.
Very interesting.
Trying to come to an understanding of exactly what it was that she was talking about. So with that particular young lady, she asked a question, and she said, if you were in a relationship and your sex drive was not as vigorous as your partners, or you didn't want to have sex as much as they did, why should you stop them from going out and getting all of their needs met as well?
Interesting.
So, and my whole thing was,
interesting.
If I was in a relationship, and this is where I think we sort of fall off, because what she was talking about a lot of times was being fulfilled in these many different relationships, that you're gonna find fulfillment in, in a monogamous relationship, or in a polyamorous relationships, multiple relationships, in order to be fulfilled. So she says that you have to create a relationship for yourself to be fulfilled. And from right there, I was just like, no, that's a problem.
It's interesting.
You keep saying that.
Anyway, interesting. Explain it so well. It's interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Multiple relationships at the same time. It's like having a fully loaded gun and you're just pulling the trigger each time.
Okay. Anyway, so
suicide.
So the thing is, what really stuck out for me is the fact that you're looking for fulfillment in these relationships.
Wow.
If you're looking for fulfillment in a relationship, for you to be fulfilled inside of a relationship, this is why you're going for multiple different partners.
Right.
Because you have to be fulfilled within yourself and within your relationship with Creator, God. before you add in anybody else to the dynamic. Otherwise, if you're looking for somebody else to fulfill you, to make you complete, then you're going to constantly be looking, and you're never going to be satisfied with anybody, because no one's going to give you, you know, what everything that you think you may need. And unless when you're fulfilled within yourself, and content within yourself, you don't look at people in order to fulfill you, but basically to maybe enhance.
Oh, really?
So, Paige.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of Sybil.
But
the multiple relations. She had multiple people on the inside.
She had multiple personalities.
She had the personalities, right? But she had different things that was going on.
Yeah.
And she, you know, and she come out. Different ones would come out
at different times.
Okay.
Okay. So I thought about. Did you remember the movie She's Gotta Have It?
Yes.
And in the
one
movie,
of those classics.
In the movie She's Gotta Have It, you had this one, the girl, I can't remember her name right now, but she had different relationships based on different things that she needed that she felt as though she couldn't find any of those things in any one person. So she had one man that she went to if she wanted to laugh. She had another man that she went to if she wanted an intellectual conversation. And she had another man that she went to just to get deep.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So in all those things, it's like, okay, well, I have these needs for these things. And so I want to go to these multiple different partners in order to try to get all of my needs met.
Wow.
And, you know, if you're looking for your needs to be, all your needs to be met in one person, that's how you end up with polyamory.
Back in the day, they used to call it the agreement.
Okay, so what we're talking about now, because but then let's look at it.
This is not.
But let's look at it. Yeah, it's nothing new. Now, they were also speaking about, you know, in monogamous relationships, that in monogamous relationships, you really have to make a decision that you're going to be with this one person the rest of your life, and you're going to be content with this one person the rest of your life. And my contention is, when you're content with yourself, and when you're fulfilled with yourself, and you decide that you need a partner to come in, you know, so that you can have, you know, other needs met that you can't necessarily get met by yourself, then, you know, you should have a partner. But in being all honest, open in all honesty, if we want to go to the word, it was a lot of polygamy going on in the Bible.
Come on, man. It was.
So, I mean, David had 8 wives.
Did it?
Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. That's 1,000.
He got too much going on.
What?
Oh my God.
Why?
Why did he have to go on?
Why? What would you need? What, 1,000?
Hey.
You ain't being with any one person. I mean, it's only 365 days in the year.
Yeah.
So what you doing with 1,000?
Yeah.
Man, get out of here. Anyway, so obviously he wasn't. But the thing is, oh my God. So the whole thing is, so with polyamory, like I said, the polygamy is not a new concept. Polygamy is still practiced in many countries in Africa, and like I said, even in the biblical times. So is it? And I'm just throwing stuff out there, y'all, because we like to talk about stuff. And talk back with us, please. Like, share, talk back with us. Yeah. Is it possible that because in our society, polygamy is looked down upon, and monogamy, one man, you know, with one wife, you know, forever is the standard? Is it possible that maybe we give, and I'm not saying I agree with this, I'm throwing this out here. Is it possible that we give polyamory or polygamy sort of a bad rap because of, you know, our societal standards?
Well, I'm gonna say this. All of it gets a bad rap. Whether you're married, you could be. I know brothers that say before they talk about me with the same person every day or the rest of my life. There's so many people that think different depending on who you're talking to. So I think the stigma of it has been made to look a certain type of way because there's so much that go on with that. That's basically what people see and know. That makes sense? It didn't. Well, that's it for tonight.
No, I'm saying, I think what you're saying is that, even in monogamous relationships, people are going to have issues.
Everybody's going to have issues.
Everybody's going to have issues.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you're a monogamous, whether you're polyamory, whether you got friends with benefits, whether you're side chicken, side dude, all of it. Everybody has a problem depending on who they are, depending on what their level or standard pertaining to themselves.
Okay, so she says, what about the fact that they aren't married? So again, are we saying that it's okay if you aren't married to have multiple partners that you can get emotional or romantically involved with? And many, so it's like when you aren't married, I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't think polyamory is contingent upon whether you're married or not.
Right.
I think polyamory is you can be a single person involved with a person who's married. That means you're in a polyamory relationship.
Right.
You can be a single person that has 5 different partners.
I know.
In other words, you have and I have to say, back in the day, I was sort of that way too. I was a bit of a, but the thing is, I was a player from the Himalayas. But the thing is, you were a player. But to be totally honest with you, when I was in that place where I was a player, I was not whole within myself.
That's true.
So part of the reason why I had multiple partners was building up my ego to see what I could pull. And see what I can get, and see what kind of clothes I have. And then also, you want to have, like my daughter calls it a harem.
Okay.
You want to have multiple people, because let's say you want to go out to dinner, but your number 1 is busy, so you got to have number 2, 3, or 4. So you have options in order to do, because you don't want to go alone. But in all honesty, I should be able to go out to dinner by myself and be cool.
Right.
If I'm fulfilled within myself.
To eat food by themselves. Anyway.
If you eat to eat, you eat for nourishment. If you by yourself or with somebody. I
understand
what
you're saying. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and open up a can of tuna and make a couple of tuna sandwiches and be by yourself.
Yeah.
Going out spending money, chilling, that's boring.
But all I'm saying is, so is that polyamorous? So this was a point that, again, Willow was saying that, she believes she's in polyamorous relationships, but she has the least amount of sex out of all her friends.
Wow.
So in other words, what she's saying is, she has friends that are in quote unquote committed relationships, but they all sleeping around. But the difference is it's not by understanding. So in polyamory, the thing is like, we just got an agreement. We see each other, but I don't really care if you're seeing other people too. Right. Just make sure you wear some protection and don't bring nothing home to me if we, in that kind of situation. I
was seeing that back in the 80s. In the early 90s, this to me is like it's the same old game with different faces,
Yeah, and so it's like, so what's the question? If they're under a covenant, I think it may make it different. Well, again, when you talk about marriage, some people think of marriage as a covenant. Some people think of marriage as a contract. So as far as a covenant, let me finish. Okay. Some people think of it as a covenant as far as a spiritual connection and something that you vow before God, that I'm going to be with this one person forever for the rest of my life. Some people think of marriage as a contract, so that, okay, we're going to come together almost like a business arrangement so that our assets, we can get tax breaks, we live together, have kids together. But it's not, especially atheists and people who don't believe in God, it's more so of, it's like a contract. And so a lot of times, again, we look at scripture.
Okay.
And we'll go to Timothy, which talks about the qualifications of a bishop, is to be married to one wife. But again, that's the qualification of a bishop who is really a manager over the church. And he also needs to have his house together, right? Because he can be managing a lot of stuff with a whole lot of people. But again, but you can't say that, oh, God says only one man or one woman, because he never rebuked David for having multiple. He never told David, no, you can only have one wife. He didn't tell Abraham he could only have one wife. He didn't tell Joseph, you could only have one wife. So Jacob, you could only have one wife. So you ask, okay, so what is God's real opinion, or what is God's stance on polygamy? And we have religions now that wholeheartedly believe in God and believe in polygamy, accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and believe in polygamy. So can we judge and say that their relationship is not whole, or even that their marriages are not solid because it's contradictory to what we understand or accept or desire? So I think it's about our desire for a relationship. Like me, I don't want to be polyamorous. I can barely deal with the one I got.
Yeah, for real. I know. Yeah, I would be hard pressed.
That's too much.
Hard pressed to deal. I'm dealing with one.
That's just.
I don't need a couple.
Honey.
I don't need nothing else. Trust me, it's just like I'll be pulling my hair out. You see, I ain't got no hair on my head.
So, so I think it's a lot of different dynamics. We can have a conversation about as far as the God aspect of it, but when you look at the God aspect of it, there's more than one way to look at that as well. When you look at, so it has to be your own standard and our own agreement.
What is it?
And I'm not agreeing to nobody else. Okay. I know you ain't agreeing either. I'm not agreeing to anybody else. Right. But does that mean that I have the right to judge someone who decides that they want to have multiples? I'm not going to judge you. I may think that you need to be more fulfilled within yourself so that you don't have to, or maybe you need to work harder on the relationship that you're dealing with to find out, okay, what is missing and what can, you all do to work through your issues so that you are able to remain, just with one person. But if, your faith, because in many African nations, the rule is you can have as many wives as you can afford. You have to be able to financially take care of them, and you have to be able to financially take care of your kids.
Real interesting.
But in the United States and in our culture, that's not the norm. That's not the standard that has been set by our society. But does our society have the right to vilify people who think contradictory? And I think that's why this entire subject is coming up. The entire subject is coming up because people want to be free
to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, and to create whatever, to create the relationship that works for them.
No, they want to do what thou will.
Well, this is okay. Let's look at this. We want to throw out do as thou will as far as the Satanism coming in. We're not talking about that because that's it. The thing is having the freedom to do what you want to do. Okay, is a freedom that we actually do have.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? We have a freedom to do what we want to do. Now, does that mean that you can infringe on other people's freedoms? No. Does that mean that you can go out and kill somebody, hurt somebody? No, because you're infringing on other people's freedom. Right. So you have the freedom to do whether it's good for you or not. Right. Because if we're going to be honest and true, even God gave us the ability God gave Adam the ability to choose something that was not good for him. Okay. He had the right to eat from the tree. He was told not to do it, and he was told what would happen to him if he did. But he was still free to choose to do it or not. And the same thing is with anybody else. I can tell you, listen, honey, if I were you, I wouldn't, because I think you're interjecting a lot of confusion. If you're looking for somebody else to give you the fulfillment you need, you need to get fulfilled within yourself. And I can tell somebody that, but they have the right to say, nah, I just want to go and have 4 or 5 relationships. At which point I said, you know what? You're free to do what you want to do. But the thing is, with freedom to do what you want to do, you also are free to reap whatever consequences come back for whatever you choose to do.
True that.
So again, so basically polyamory is consensual cheating.
Or consensual.
And it's not cheating if it's
consensual side dudes.
It don't just
consensual.
They don't call them side dudes. I can't remember what they call them, but I don't think I can say
the cleanup one.
No.
It's a woman too.
Okay, so precious is like talking about what about the sin component?
Okay.
Okay, so if we want to talk about the sin component, let's look at it. The sin component in regards to thou shalt not commit adultery.
Okay.
All right. And even in regards to fornicator shall not enter into the kingdom.
Okay.
So when we're talking about the sin component, again, that is still your choice. Yeah. So you have a right to choose it, but then you also have to deal with the consequences of whatever you choose. So if you go against the will of God, you're going to reap whatever it is that you sow. But everybody has a right to choose whether they want to be obedient or whether they want to be disobedient. Because if we're really honest, every day you sinning doing something, be it in your mind you sinning, in your bodies you sinning, are you lying, are you cheating, are you not doing what you're supposed to do if God tells you to do it? You know, so we all have sinned and we all fall short. So the sin component, you know, sin is always, really always with us. But the thing is, I think the question is, do we have a right to condemn and judge?
Absolutely.
You know, and or can we actually look at it and listen to what they're saying and understand? Because I honestly think this whole thing about polyamory has come about because people are tired of being ostracized and vilified for the choices that they make consensually.
Or people are tired of basically walking a straight line. They just want to be able to walk outside the lines a little bit, step outside of the norm. They want to be able to call their own narrative. They want to be able to make.
They want to be free.
Be free. Be free to do you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want multiple partners. You know, leave me alone. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Not me, but them.
Not him.
No,
anyway, but the thing is, yeah, so, you know, so if this is what I want to do, you know, who are you to tell me? Who are you to tell me that if we are consensual, if we're not hurting anybody, and this is an arrangement that we want to agree to, who are you to tell me that I can't do it or vilify me because that's what I want to do, or talk about me, call me a freak, call me a hoe, call me loose, call me a
language,
calling me all kinds of names because this is what I choose to do
with your body.
So it's like freedom to create a relationship style that works for you. And but this is my thing. I think, to be totally honest with you, I think it may work for you for a season.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna work long term. Because yes, that's
the emotions start flying.
Baby,
as we watch that program, we see a lot of different faces on there, and how people were not feeling when people were talking about they were lying. They were really lying. I don't care what he does, you know what I'm saying? I know that he'll never leave me. You're not even
the wife.
First woman.
Okay.
You are the
side chick. You're side
chick. Side
girl. And then
you're a side dish, like the beans.
You call them beans, okay? Anything?
Okay.
So anyway, what I found interesting, because if we really gonna be real, I mean, be really, really real. When you are really into somebody and they go and leave you or mess around with somebody else, you gonna be jealous.
Yes.
You gonna be mad, and then they say, "Oh no, when I was jealous, I just realized it was just something within myself." Stop it. Because jealousy is natural. God is jealous. God is jealous for his people, his church. He's jealous for us. He done made the sacrifice for us. He like, listen, I done gave everything I could give to bring y'all back to me. And now y'all want to go running after all these other idols and all this other stuff. So even God is jealous. So how unrealistic is it for you to sit up there? Who? Hosea? Hosea was in a polyamorous relationship because his wife, he wasn't doing it, but his wife kept going out doing it, and he kept taking her back. So he actually was.
He was chasing her down, right?
He was, and bringing her back. bringing her back. But somebody is going to get jealous, and to sit here and think, oh no, I this is my love, and I'm just going to love him, and I don't mind if he goes and messes with Susie. You are a liar. You gonna sit up there, look, because even in the Bible, them wives was getting some kind of way.
Yeah.
Them wives was feeling some type of way. Something. Now, I don't know about 1,000.
Well, Abraham.
Because I don't think if they had 1,000 wives and concubines, I don't think you can get emotionally attached to any of them.
Abraham had a problem.
I can't read that. Oh, I can't read it.
Well, y'all lighten it up tonight.
But yeah, but it's like, you know, it's I just don't think I don't think that is really realistic.
Really realistic.
I don't think it's realistic.
Yeah, Abraham had a problem.
Abraham had a problem.
And his wife
Hannah, man, remember Hannah had that problem? Shoot, Abraham had a problem with Sarah. Wait, Sarah gave him her handmaid.
Come on.
Then the handmaid was like, I got a baby, you don't. So then she started acting some type of way. And Sarah's like, get that hoe out of my house. And then he had a kid with her. And then
I don't think he said it.
I'm just saying, that's the basic, whatever. And the thing is, he had to like put his own child out because, you know, the wife was feeling some type of way. And it's just like, you know, let's just keep it real.
Let's keep it 100.
You know, you get into a polyamorous relationship unless you're going to completely shut all of your emotions off, which you are not going to do.
Eventually, something's going to catch up.
Something going to catch up, something going to go down, something going to go wrong. Bruh, stuff is going to go wrong. Let's see. Nasa said, had to have our cake and eat it too, but God. You know, a whole lot of people, they had to have their cake and eat it too. But the truth of the matter is,
everybody gets sick from eating too much cake. Too much cake will make you sick.
Too much cake will make you sick and make you fat. It said, what is it? Rashad Berry says, humans are fickle and our emotions change like the wind. So someone will always want more of you. Ooh. Well, ooh. You know what? And that's true. You look at these shows, because you know TV, we have some of everything, reality TV. And what is it? Sister Wives or something? And so you had this Betty, he had all these wives. And then some of the wives is like, you know, I'm sort of jealous because I'm not getting my time. And then you had the husband was like, well, I don't want to spend time with this wife because she always complaining. And then I don't want to spend time with this wife because, and then, so, you know, it's, you know, and then there was like conflict because some of the wives were more conservative than the other. It was different. So you have all these personalities, and that's something else. When you get into a polyamorous relationship, it's all these different personalities. But the thing is, the one that we saw on TV, where, and this is how it started. The one that we saw on the Red Tabletop. The one we saw on the Red Tabletop, was a young girl was married to a young man.
Yeah.
But then she met an older man that she wanted to get into a relationship with. Yeah. So she went and talked to her husband and said, listen, I want to get into this relationship with this older man. He was like, okay, cool. I'll just go get me another one. Cool. And so he's like, they respect each other's house. They have a calendar to tell when they gonna spend time with each other. Yeah, they organize. So that's one of the things I said. If you're in a polyamorous, that you have to keep your calendar up to date so you'll know who's with who and when who's coming to your house. So that when you got, bruh,
you ain't walking.
I wish I would. I wish I would leave my house, so my husband and his girlfriend can have time. Now again, she don't care. Because she had another man first. She don't care. But that to me doesn't really sound like much of a relationship. It sounds more like they're roommates,
right? Basically.
Who happen to be married.
Basically.
And there's not an emotional connection. The husband and wife do not have that real kind of emotional connection. Because when you get a real personal connection, you ain't trying to share.
What? I'm gonna leave where? Who gonna come who?
Okay.
On this calendar.
Okay.
Who made this?
Okay.
Somebody about to get shot, stabbed. Somebody about to get kicked.
Now, Rashad says the soul ties. What about the soul ties you create that lifestyle? The soul ties, that's part of the consequences that you deal with. So again, people want freedom to create the relationship style that they believe works for them, but you have to think about the consequences. Now, most of the people aren't thinking about these spiritual consequences in laying down with multiple partners and getting up with whatever the multiple partners had.
Getting up with a lot of emotional stuff going on inside of you because you got all these different people going on, and it makes you crazy.
You was one talking about Sybil.
Yes.
But yeah, you'll have multiple personalities. You be like, because again, I don't know about everybody else, but I do know that there have been times that I was in a relationship, and I picked up some of the tendencies and emotions of the person I was in the relationship with. Okay, so polyamory, so you picking up a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And maybe you had a whole bunch of stuff in you because you already want to get certain things fulfilled, different little fulfillments, different little desires. Maybe there was multiple things going on in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
From the previous relationship. But you just happen to find a lane that accepts it.
Yeah.
And that's what people are looking for, acceptance to be who they are. And we should accept people where they are without forcing our ideals or our values upon somebody. Now, if they ask you, that's a totally different thing. But if you're forcing your values on somebody else who doesn't want them, clearly doesn't want them, they're clearly trying to fulfill an appetite that is in them to fulfill these different appetites. They don't want you, they don't, at that particular point when everything is going good, they ain't trying to hear you. They're thinking it's the best thing in the world until Susie Q starts saying, hey, I ain't getting my time.
And you know what? And we're going to be honest. I don't care what you say. When you agree to a polyamorous relationship, I just personally feel, and this is my opinion, and everybody got one, you ain't got to agree with it.
True.
But I honestly believe that when you determine that you're going to accept a polyamorous situation, you are settling. Because I don't believe there's anyone that wants a partner that's not committed to them.
Okay. That's true.
You know?
I think that is true.
So you get these situations where basically your partner told you, I'm about to step out on you. And you're like, well, okay, if you want to, that's fine. Then I get to step out too. Okay, we're good. Okay, polyamory. The fact of the matter is that there was initially a betrayal and you're settling for the situation instead of like, well, no, that's not really what I want. So you come into agreement with this particular situation. Some of us have your cake and eat it too. I think a lot of it is settling. I think a lot of it is confusion. And then this was the last thing I want to bring up because we about out of time. This says, Willow asks, can you be in a group and love everyone equally? That's the question I want to ask. Can you be in a group and love everyone equally? Okay. Can you be, I want to see you all's responses. Can you be in a group and love everyone equally?
Can you?
And my whole thing is I can love them equally, but not the same.
How does that work?
Well, the thing is, I have my desires for the love of God, where I desire that which is good for them. And I would, want to help them in every situation that I can, to be there for them, to support them, to be patient with them, long suffering with them, to help them through. However, I don't love you the same as I do my husband. See, there's an agape love, but then there's an eros love. Okay. So I can have agape love for everybody, but that don't mean I got that eros love for everybody.
So as long as you don't go eros or pervert something that could be potentially something that you could love somebody evenly or equally, if you pervert that with something else, how can you love everybody? Does that make sense?
Say it again.
Let me think about it one more time. Right? Basically, I'm saying that like I can love everybody equally. You know what I'm saying? As long as I don't try to cut it with something else, it would be easy.
Huh? Cut it.
Well, try to make it sensual, sexual.
Oh, perverted.
Perverted.
Okay,
Yes.
different.
If I don't pervert, yes. But if I pervert it, no. Because eventually, some kind of way, if you start to develop feelings for somebody, or somebody develop feelings for you, because everybody ain't gonna stay in their lane. And to be a good side thing or a good agreement, you got to play your role. And your role, once you get outside your role, you done messed up the whole dynamic.
Oh, you talking about stay in your side chick role?
Stay in your role. The code is side chick 5107.
Oh,
stop it.
So Victoria says there are individuals that can disconnect from jealousy when it comes to polyamory, when they agree on what they will do. So, you'll come into an agreement, so you disconnect. But see, jealousy actually is a natural emotion.
Yeah.
So you choose to disconnect or turn off. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. But when I'm not jealous, that means I don't care. For real.
That's pretty much what
So, but that's just me. Maybe not everybody is like that. But when I'm emotionally involved and I'm emotionally invested in somebody, when I'm emotionally invested in this person as, my Eros love partner, and then he decides he's going to invest in somebody else, it's almost like, I give you $100, and instead of you giving me $100 back, you're going to give it to some other girl. That's the look on my face. Interesting. No, it's just like, and then the next step is, oh no, I'm going to take off my earrings. Oh no, what we not about to do. So so about me, so I don't know. So he said some just want to know that they are wanted by the individuals in this type of relationship, and once again the agreement. Yeah, and see, I can understand that. Like I said, back before when I was a player from the Himalayas, I would go out and I would draw and I would jump. It'd be whatever, and I get my move, my needs from whichever one but I was not emotionally invested in none of them. I was looking like, what can I get from this person? But as far as me giving myself to that person, no, wasn't happening. And I was also closed off because I was under the mindset like, I'm gonna get you before you get me. So that was my mindset at the time. So it's like, okay, this brother right here can give me this man right here can give me this, that man right there is this. So yeah, I'm just gonna do this to get what I want. But I'm not emotionally invested in the one. And the truth of the matter is, none of that, and those dudes could have had other girls. I didn't know about it. And the truth of the matter, I didn't care. But the thing is, none of them knew that I had other guys because they was kicking out some ducats. They was kicking out some money. They was I was cute. Anyway. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I'm not emotionally invested in any of them. So when I look at a lot of the people, so it's, I don't know. It's like, what kind of people enter into polyamorous relationships?
People with insecurities, realize they're bored. You can name a whole lot of stuff. Bored with life, bored with a person. Most people will tell you wouldn't do it when they go out and do something. It ain't even polyamorous. They go out and do something because they feel like things have changed or the relationship dynamic is not the same as it was before. And people find all kinds of ways to be able to do what they want to do. And they don't tell you about it. They don't tell you how they feel. They're not real with you up front. The one thing I can say about the polyamorous situation, they are real and upfront.
Yeah.
They're honest and upfront. Now, if somebody's honest with you, it gives you the choice to say, if I want to be involved in this type of relationship. Now, if somebody ain't giving you a choice to say, hey, no, I ain't being involved with that, then that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes, now I'm not gonna do a poly. You know what I'm saying? I love my life. Amen. Yeah. Okay. And we don't have to show how you that. Amen. So we have to get to a point where we understand that the world is gonna be the world. There's certain things that's gonna happen. Now, of course, we understand what is going on. We got scripture that actually can support what we say. But when people are not in that vein, as far as their mind and capacity, and they only out to go ahead and work for them, they're actually operating in the flesh. You can't tell a person who is getting what they get, what they desire, and they're having no problems at the time. You can't tell them nothing unless they go hit their head or something happens. Then they want to be out of the situation, and they didn't know what they was getting into it, even though they knew the rules. They knew the rules going in. Their emotions got the best of them, and they got caught up. And anybody that knows about even with that stuff back in the day when young Thundercats, because I'm noticing that the young person was very adamant in defending polyamory. And most Thundercats is always trying, once they get that genie out the bottle, they try to mix it up until they get caught up.
So again, the term is polyamory.
Mm-hmm.
For us, it was like player, dog, hoe, loose, fast, all kinds of things that we used to say, basically in regards to people who were in polyamorous relationships. And right now, I do believe that they are trying to
they're trying to glamorize.
And I think they're trying to control the narrative. And I can't be angry with them trying to control the narrative. But you got to know, again, you're gonna do what you gonna do. But just know, in anything that you do, especially outside of the will of God, it's going to be some consequences.
You reap what you sow.
So anyway, we are out of time.
All right.
Join us next week. We're going to be talking about the woman's dynamic. I'm going to say that's what it is. What is it? The woman's perspective, from a woman's perspective. And we're going to be talking about different things such as, why is it that women are looked to like have to wear stiletto heels and high heels, even though it's not even good for our feet.
Brothers,
and most of us, a lot of us is not even comfortable.
What?
But if we were to walk around in very comfortable shoes or things of that nature, some people, they may judge you, for like you wear. What is it like boys' clothes, girls' clothes? And why is marriage pushed on girls? Like, you're not complete until you get a husband. And it's all kinds of stuff. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Like that. Next week, we're going to have Sonia Green, Laramie Berry, Jalen Culver, and the Pages. And we're going to have a conversation.
Talk about
Gracefully Losing My Religion is out on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. If you don't have a copy, please get a copy. If you got a copy, please put up a review, and we're going to start talking about it. We're going to start going through the chapters, talking about it, and having some real life, real conversations, but get the book. Also, like and comment and share, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Page to Speak, Instagram, podcast, Spotify. Yes. And we will be back next week for more conversations, real conversations. And if there's something you want to talk about that, not necessarily being talked about everywhere, we'll talk about it. This is The Page to Speak. I'm Stephanie Page, and this is
Joe Nathan, Lee Page. What up, though?
We'll see you next week.
Bye.